So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology, and welcome to my Samsung Galaxy S10 1 year later. So Samsung did reduce the price of this phone to around $749. Now, when this phone first came out, it was like $899, so that's a good amount of a discount here for everything you're getting with the S10. So 1 year later, with the body of the Galaxy S10, I can say that it's been pretty fantastic. These aluminum sides here have always felt pretty premium. And one thing I really liked about it was it had this camera bump that was basically non-existent. Now, I will say one thing. Galaxy S10's power button was quite high, so I think that could be a little bit of a reach for some people. But overall, I mean, a really good balance of a smartphone. It feels very well balanced in that it's not too large, it's not too small. It might be just the right size for many people. Now, having that headphone jack, USB-C, and speaker grill at the bottom were always nice, but the headphone jack is the real star here. You know, on a premium Samsung phone to have a headphone jack is pretty nice. We don't have that anymore with the all-new S20s. And then on the left side, pretty similar to the other side, the right side, but we do have ourselves a volume rocker and Bixby key. Fortunately, Samsung's starting to go away from the Bixby key, but it was here for the S10. And one thing to note about the Galaxy S10 is that it did have a nice heart rate monitor, so you don't really have that on the newer phones. Now you have to use one of the watches to get your heart rate. And then on the front side, you can see that the Galaxy S10 did feature reduced bezels on the front of the display, and we did have the Infinity O display, but it was off to the right, which some people did not like. A lot of people do like that centered Infinity O in the center of the display. And it did feature a curved display, which for some is a deal breaker, but for me, it wasn't. Overall, after 1 year, I don't think this is the absolute best design on the market, but it's definitely one of the best. And I think for the reduced price points you can get these at now, I don't think you could go wrong anymore, even right now with the Galaxy S10. It's still a very nice premium device. It's not going to cost you more than $800. And one thing to keep in mind as well is that not only is it a premium feel, but it's also a light feel. So we have a premium phone at the same time. We have a phone that seems like we could just carry it around anywhere and it's not going to weigh our pockets down whatsoever. Also, it offers up really good balance at 6.1 inches. Now, with the Samsung Galaxy S10's display, we did get an in-display fingerprint sensor and it worked pretty well. I didn't have too much of an issue with this in-display fingerprint sensor, although it does misfire sometimes. It was definitely good enough to say you could put it in the phone for the mainstream. It worked well enough for that. A very bright OLED panel on here, although I will say that Apple's iPhone 11 Pro did get a little bit brighter than this one. This one was still very bright and very accurate. It's a dynamic AMOLED display, and you have less modes that you could change than before, but you could still go between vivid and natural, and you could change your advanced settings right there. Overall, you could also use this display for pop view and splitting applications, so you could take advantage of that 6.1 inch display as well. At QHD resolution, text was always extremely sharp for this panel, actually sharper than most phones on the market, extremely high PPI. And video did present black bars due to the aspect ratio you could pinch in, but overall a very good video watching experience. You do have that hole up there in display, so sometimes that can get in the way, but I don't think it's a big issue. And overall, you know, Netflix and things like that, the hole does disappear. So it's a very good media watching phone as well. Good light size with a good enough screen size to give you a very enjoyable YouTube viewing experience or Netflix viewing experience, for example. So overall, 1 year later with the display, absolutely zero complaints. It's been fantastic. Now, software for the Galaxy S10. Now, surprisingly, well, not really surprisingly, Samsung has definitely been stepping it up here with the software. I've got a lot of software updates for this phone and even got the Android 10 update to this device, and this thing launched with Android 9. So this is definitely looking pretty good so far. I think we're going to get at least a year or more of updates for the Galaxy S10, although still, you know, a fragmented rollout. We do have updates coming a little bit later on some other editions, but at this point, you know what you're getting: the One UI software with a ton of advanced features, a little bit more cleaned up versus prior years with TouchWiz and stuff like that. And overall, I do think a lot of people enjoy that Samsung offers up the features you kind of miss on other competing platforms like split screen, pop view, you know, a lot of these advanced features that you just cannot find on other platforms. And with that being said, you know what you're getting when you buy a Galaxy S10. You're getting the Samsung suite of software along with the Google Android experience. And for me on this phone, it's been pretty fantastic. Good size, lots of features, and it feels like a little powerhouse in your pocket. Keep in mind that the updates for this phone can be fragmented depending on if you got a carrier edition or an unlocked model. And when it comes to performance, you know with this smartphone, you're getting a boss performer with the Snapdragon 855 CPU on board with 8 gigabytes of RAM. The Galaxy S10 really has no issues whatsoever snapping things open day to day. And with the upgrades to Android 10, it got even faster for this phone. Benchmarks, of course, aren't going to beat Apple's latest devices, but at the same time, you still get a fantastic performer. And really, there's no reason to upgrade today from a Galaxy S10 to any of the newer smartphones just from this aspect alone. This phone is a boss in performance. Even the Galaxy Z Flip has almost the same CPU as this phone, which should say something. It should say that Samsung's still throwing in a similar CPU on a brand new phone, meaning that CPU is a very powerhouse performer still in February 2020. And I've been very pleased with the storage. Samsung did give me 128 gigs on this phone, and if you get one, you get the standard for the Galaxy S10, and you also do have expandable memory up there on the top, so you can definitely get plenty of storage for the Galaxy S10. You have to worry not at all about this. And so discussing that camera, it's a triple camera right here. We do have a dual 12 megapixel plus a 16 megapixel on here. And we have a 4K front facing camera on this phone as well that goes up to 10 megapixels. So on the whole, I gotta say, man, this was one of the best packages of the time, and it still shines to this day. So when taking a photo for Galaxy S10, you do have your standard angle. We can also punch in 2x for the telephoto. It also helps you line up the shot. And if we go over here, you can go wide angle on this baby. Now also, if we go into settings, you're going to notice we do have quite a bit of settings we can tweak here. And one of the most important elements is that this can do 4K on the front, but it can also do 4K at 60 on the rear, so you have plenty of that action going on. I mean, very versatile feature setup. And also in video mode, you can do a super steady shot, which will really stabilize the lens, giving you almost an action camera like video. So, you also have portrait modes on here in the form of live focus, and you can do pro mode tweaking as well. And, night mode is even here. So what more could you want in a camera? Good storage and great photo hardware. So 1 year later with the audio performance,
there are some brushes inside there that should keep dust and stuff.
Dual speakers,
Not too worried
something that doesn't even come on the Galaxy Z Flip.
about that. There's a fingerprint sensor right there.
And not only that, those speakers are plenty loud. They have Dolby Atmos support, and you have a headphone jack on this phone. So let's have a listen again.
And volume rockers. That hinge design looks pretty similar to the Galaxy Fold, just in a smaller form factor. You can see
Plenty enough to enjoy your media on the day-to-day. So 1 year later, I'm super happy with the audio performance from the S10. So what's battery life been like? With a 3400 milliamp hour battery in here, it hasn't been, the best in the industry. The battery has been a day phone with medium to heavy use. Now, if you're really going hard, you're playing games on this thing, no way you're getting through a day. And if you're a really heavy user, probably no way you're getting through a day. But luckily enough, the Galaxy S10 charges extremely fast, and it also does have support for reverse wireless charging and wireless charging. So it's really not that hard to live with a phone with a 3400 milliamp hour battery. Just put a phone charger in your car, bring a battery pack, get a battery case if you need one. It's not that hard. This phone can get through most people's day without any of those measures though. Not only that, Samsung has some fantastic power modes you could take advantage of here for S10. So yeah, 1 year later, I'm happy that Samsung's putting a bigger battery in the Galaxy S20s, but this one was enough for a day. And call quality and reception have been fantastic. This phone has the Qualcomm modems, and it has extremely good LTE performance. I mean, we're talking LTE performance that's super snappy wherever you are, and you could just count on it. Okay guys, so 1 year later with the Samsung Galaxy S10, there's really nothing else to talk about with this particular device. It just does the job, and it does it well. And I think it's one of those Samsung phones that, you can buy used or get on a great deal, and you're gonna have so many features. You're gonna be so happy with this purchase. It's not going to leave you behind in terms of the hardware. You have an amazing OLED display, amazing cameras on board, and you can kind of see why Samsung decided to keep these around even though the S20s came out. These are fantastic phones that really didn't need an upgrade. They were really, really good, but there always got to be a new phone. So if you get an S10 now, just get one on a good deal and enjoy it. It's going to be great for years to come, a couple years to come at least. And I know the software updates are something that still seems to haunt Samsung devices. But at the same time, if you can just enjoy the hardware for what it is, I think you'll be a very happy buyer of the S10, even though it's approaching 1 year old now. So what are your thoughts? Do you have any questions about the S10? Drop them down below. If you have any experiences with this phone, please share those with the community as well. It helps everyone out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thumbs up if you enjoyed this. Nick here helping you to master your technology. Be sure to be well, and peace.